Some disappearances leave questions that refuse to fade. They haunt towns, linger in the memories of friends and family, and sometimes leave a mark on the land itself. In one small town, decades of strange occurrences coincided with the mysterious disappearance of a teenager. Lights in the sky, untraceable sounds, odd patterns in the forest, all unexplained. And then one investigator noticed something chilling. These phenomena might be connected to the missing person. Was it coincidence? Or something far stranger? The truth is a thread, invisible until you pull it. And when you do, it unravels a story the town tried to forget. This is the story of a missing person, a strange phenomena, and a mystery that refuses to be ignored. The disappearance in 1978, 16-year-old Daniel Harper vanished from the small town of Black Hollow. It was a place of dense forests, winding creeks, and misty hills, a place that seemed beautiful and peaceful but held secrets in its shadows. Daniel had been riding his bicycle home from a friend's house on the outskirts of town when he disappeared. His bike was later found abandoned near the edge of the forest, wheels still spinning slightly from the momentum, as if he had just dismounted. The police conducted a thorough search. Officers combed the forest, interrogated neighbors, and even brought in search dogs. Yet there was no trace of Daniel, no footprints leading away from the scene, no signs of struggle, no indication of foul play. It was as if he had simply vanished into thin air. The town, shaken and desperate, tried to carry on, but the disappearance became the defining mystery of Black Hollow. Families warned children never to go near the forest alone, and locals whispered about strange lights and sounds that had begun appearing after Daniel vanished. The phenomena begins. Residents first noticed the unexplained events shortly after Daniel disappeared. Lights appeared in the forest at night, soft glows that moved between the trees. Some said they were lanterns carried by campers, but no one could confirm this. Others described sounds, footsteps crunching on dead leaves, soft cries in the distance, whispers that seemed to carry Daniel's name. At first, authorities dismissed these reports. People were grieving, imaginations ran wild, but as the years went by, the phenomena continued, increasing in frequency and intensity. Hikers would find odd symbols scratched into tree bark. Farmers reported missing livestock and broken fences in places that showed no signs of entry. And sometimes, if a person entered the forest alone, they reported sudden drops in temperature and the sensation of being watched. Most disturbing of all were the instances when people claimed to see Daniel, brief glimpses of a boy in the distance, standing motionless or walking along trails where no one had seen him before. Yet whenever anyone approached, he would vanish. The investigator arrives decades later. A researcher named Evelyn Cross arrived in Black Hollow. Evelyn specialized in unexplained phenomena, a career built on cases where science struggled to provide answers. She heard about Daniel Harper's disappearance through old police records and local legend, and she became convinced that the strange events were more than coincidence. Her first night in the forest confirmed the town's stories. She recorded lights drifting between trees, appearing and disappearing at impossible speeds. She documented sounds that had no source, footsteps on damp soil, voices whispering, unintelligible words, and distant laughter that echoed unnaturally. Her instruments captured temperature drops in localized areas, electronic interference, and occasional flashes of light that defied explanation. Evelyn began piecing together the timeline of occurrences and noticed a pattern. The phenomenon always intensified near the anniversary of Daniel's disappearance, every October, and the location corresponded precisely to the path Daniel had taken the night he vanished. The connection to Daniel. Evelyn conducted interviews with longtime residents, some of whom had lived in Black Hollow for decades. One man, a retired park ranger, told her about a series of incidents that had been quietly recorded but never made public. He described hikers reporting seeing a boy who matched Daniel's description, hearing faint cries for help, and finding trails in the forest that suddenly appeared overnight. Evelyn also discovered old police reports she had never seen. There were mentions of strange lights near the forest's edge, of objects hovering above the treetops, and shadows that did not belong to any known person or animal. In every case, officers noted the details but dismissed them as irrelevant to the investigation. The evidence, she realized, had been ignored for decades, and yet it formed a chilling narrative. Daniel Harper had vanished, and something, whether human, supernatural, or otherwise, had followed him into the forest. The strange events were likely tied directly to his disappearance. A breakthrough. Evelyn set up a series of experiments in the forest, using thermal cameras, motion sensors, and audio recorders. Night after night, she observed lights moving against the wind, temperature anomalies that could be explained, and figures that appeared on infrared cameras for only a few frames at a time. One night, she captured something extraordinary, a small figure moving quickly through the trees, consistent with Daniel's size and age. Although blurry, the movement patterns and timing corresponded with eyewitness accounts. Evelyn marked the location and returned during the day to investigate. To her astonishment, she discovered a depression in the soil, a faint, rectangular imprint that suggested something had been buried or concealed there. Nearby, she found fragments of clothing consistent with 1970s children's wear. For the first time, a direct connection emerged between the missing boy and the unexplained phenomena. Town reactions. When Evelyn presented her findings to local authorities, reactions were mixed. Some residents were eager to reopen the case, hopeful that answers would finally surface. Others were fearful, wary of stirring up old memories, and concerned that the forest might hold truths too dark to confront. The police reopened the investigation cautiously, examining the newly documented anomalies. They verified the locations of the thermal sightings, matched them with historical records, and cross-referenced old witness statements. Every new piece of evidence seemed to validate what the town had long whispered. Daniel had not simply disappeared. Something had happened that night, something the authorities had missed or ignored. The unexplained climax. During one particularly foggy October night, Evelyn and a small team entered the forest near the depression she had discovered. The fog clung low to the ground, muffling sound and visibility. As they advanced, lights flickered through the trees, appearing and vanishing with impossible speed. Audio recorders picked up whispers, fragmented, disjointed, calling the name Daniel. Suddenly, a flash illuminated the clearing. The team froze. Evelyn's camera recorded a small, fleeting figure standing at the edge of the woods. It looked directly at her, then disappeared as quickly as it appeared. Although no one could confirm what they had seen, the instruments provided undeniable proof. Something was present in that area, something connected to Daniel Harper. The long-lasting impact. The town of Black Hollow remains haunted by Daniel's disappearance. The phenomena persist to this day, particularly around the anniversary of his vanishing. Researchers continue to document the lights, the whispers, and the temperature anomalies. Residents remain wary of the forest, but tell the story to visitors and children. A warning and a cautionary tale rolled into one. For those who experienced the events firsthand, the connection between the unexplained occurrences and Daniel Harper is undeniable. The town learned a valuable lesson. Sometimes the evidence doesn't look like evidence. Sometimes it doesn't fit neatly into reports or witness statements. But over time, patterns emerge. Anomalies, ignored for decades, can reveal truths that authorities and townspeople alike had overlooked. And in the quietest moments of the forest, when fog rolls low and shadows stretch across the trails, the whispers continue. Some say it's Daniel. Some say it's something else entirely. But no matter what, the town of Black Hollow will never forget that night, or the phenomena that followed. Over the years, some locals have attempted to interact with the phenomenon directly. A few adventurous teenagers reported leaving small objects, coins, notes, even toys at the edge of the forest where Daniel had last been seen. The next day, many of the items had shifted, disappeared entirely, or were arranged in patterns too deliberate to be random. One note, left by a hiker in 2015, was found folded and placed atop a tree root, the handwriting smudged but still legible. "I see you. I'm here." These small, eerie gestures suggested that the presence lingering in the forest was not just passive. It was aware, reactive, and somehow connected to Daniel's story, a haunting echo of the boy who vanished decades ago. Some disappearances are never truly resolved. Some mysteries stretch across decades, leaving a trail of fear, speculation, and unanswered questions. But sometimes, patient observation, advanced tools, and careful attention to patterns can link the unexplained to real events. The story of Daniel Harper reminds us that the past has a way of resurfacing, and that evidence, whether it be whispers, lights, or shadows, cannot be ignored forever. Truth may be delayed, but it always finds a way to be heard. This has been Same Sky, revealing the mysteries that refuse to stay buried and the phenomena that may hold the key to unlocking long-lost secrets.